Okay. So morning everyone. Welcome to week 3. Today we have Mr. Tran from Superteam APAC. Uh, he'll be talking a little bit about Colosseum. That's one of the main reasons we're here for, right? To help you guys. One is of course to get your business started, get your project started. But the other thing is I think it's more like an immediate goal, right? Is that we have a Colosseum coming up, the deadline coming up this month. So we have 3 weeks until Colosseum deadline. And so today An will share his um, basically cheat sheet, right, on how can you win this thing. So with that, anh Trần, please take it away. Hello.
Okay, got it. Good morning, everybody. Glad to have everybody here today. I'm gonna share my. Second here. Let me share something.
Okay, there you go.
Okay, here we go.
We still cannot hear you though.
You guys can't hear me?
No, I can hear him fine.
How many people can't hear me? Just say I can't hear you if on the chat. Yeah, Kung, what's up?
Wait, can you guys hear him?
Yeah.
I can hear you too.
Yeah, we can hear Anne, and
Maybe
we
it's
can
me.
hear you,
Okay.
Leo.
Anyway, continue. I'll hop in again.
All right, it's just Leo who can't hear me. Okay. That's rather odd, but it's fine. So again, welcome everybody and good morning. Glad to have everybody here today, and glad that you guys are part of this program, right? When Leo and I kind of got together and talked about creating this program, the whole idea was really, at the end of the day, the whole idea is obviously we want teams that are fundable, that can tell stories, that can put together a great pitch deck. But at the very, very end of the day, we want winners, right? That is what this is all about. Like, you guys are dedicating the next 2 months of your life, the next month of your life onto building this project in the hopes of getting something out of it. And the output, what you get out of it, is winning, right? And then there's obviously a bunch of reasons why winning is important, but I think that the most important reasons for winning is, number one, the number one request I get still is, hey, how do I get more marketing for my project, right? And the way you get more marketing for your project is to compete in these hackathons, to be part of the greater ecosystem, and to win. To win, you get validation from the Solana Foundation, from the Colosseum people, that you are the right project for this category, and then you will in turn get marketing from them. And number two, you get money. This is the money that you get from these prize pools are grant free. You don't these are equity free grants. So they go into your pocket, they help you with your runway, and they help you build your program. And number three, at the end of the day, we really want you guys to get into the Colosseum Accelerator program, because that's $250,000. It's a lot of marketing, and you will be around 9 to 12 other amazing teams with amazing mentors whose job it is to elevate your game and actually help you raise a real seed round, like somewhere in the neighborhood of, $3 to $7 million. And that's really what this is all about. And so today's presentation is really about how to win at one of these Solana hackathons, and what's it going to take to make that happen, right? So I'll start going through this, and you can ask me questions at the end. Of course, all of this will be shared with you guys in the group. So you'll get a copy of the deck and the presentation, which will be very helpful for you guys to check out, right? So let me see. Let me do a few things here. Okay, let me see. Is it better if I do slideshow?
Yep.
All right. Okay, the slideshow is better. It's much bigger. Okay, great. right? So of the deck, what's great about this deck is number one, I give you guys a bunch of key links to help out with. Like you're going to be getting all of this help anyways, but when you're by yourself, there's a pitch deck template, right? There's a video demo template, and these are all kind of like what Superteam has built, why you should build your pitch deck in a certain way. The video demo template is like how to put together a great video pitch deck. This is really cool. These are all the past winners from all the various let's see where we at here. Okay, we're here. Okay, this is a link of all of the past winners from Radar to Renaissance to Breakout. And it'll give you basically all their pitch decks. It's broken down to gaming, DeFi, consumer applications, stablecoins, payments, etc. Right? And so if you're in the category, it would be a good idea to say, like, what did it take for this team to win this last time around? Like, what did they do to make sure that they got that first or that second place prize, and compare yourself to them? Like, the best way to learn is learn from the winners themselves, and look at the teams that are actually competing in this, competing at the previous hackathons, right? If you are still, it looks like most of you guys have an idea, but if you're looking for kind of like just like inspiration and everything like that, there's a couple links to ideas. For example, there was an RSP that was put out from Colosseum itself. This is very good. It was a request for products. It said like, hey, here's some of the areas that we're thinking about. So if you are thinking about P2P payments for cross-border countries, ARM for the group chats, on-chain Moody's, which is, obviously RWA and financialization of markets, permissionless prediction markets, all those types of things. If you're thinking about these things, think about what Colosseum is writing about, and then ask yourself the question, can I plug into ostensibly some of these ideas? Now, stay true to what you're doing, but think about the macro picture. Think about what the judges are looking for, what Colosseum is looking for, and figure out, hey, is my narrative kind of the right narrative here? Right? So these are just like great links for you guys to get helped out with. If you've got some extra time, read a few of these articles, like How to Win a Colosseum Hackathon by Maddie. A lot of what I'm going to be covering in today's speech is an aggregation of all these interviews and interviews and articles that I've read and I've participated in over the last few hackathons, right? So the prizes, right? I think Leo's probably gone over this with you. So Colosseum VC funding is allocating $2.5 million in pre-seed capital to the winners. There's about $650,000 for the main prize pool. And I think there's going to be something in the neighborhood of probably another $250,000. Wow, it's already $250,000 in sidetrack prizes. So these are like, for example, if you're building something, in gaming, right? Magic Block will have something. If you're building something along the side of encryption, Archium is going to have something as a sidetrack for you guys. If you're doing something with AI agents, there's another sidetrack that is available for you guys. This is something that will help you down the line. But again, the point is that there's a lot of money at stake here, and there's a lot of different ways to make money. I think one of the easiest way to make money for this is the Solana mobile track. So let me see, is this on here? Solana mobile. It's not on here yet. Oh no, it's not even, it's on the Colosseum Cyberpunk. So there will be 10 mobile prizes. This is written kind of poorly here, but Solana Mobile will be giving actually $10,000 Solana mobile developer grants. So if you are building something in that is Solana mobile compatible, you will be eligible. 10 teams will be eligible for $10,000 each. Not only will they give you a $10,000 prize, but on top of that, they will feature you in their app store. They will give you ecosystem support, etc. I was in Bangkok just the other day with Chase, who's the head of ecosystems for Solana Mobile. Moonwalk was a feature application on the Solana Mobile store just about a month ago. And after 2 weeks of being featured, they had 30,000 new downloads. So there's a pretty massive impact to be featured into the Solana mobile app store. So that's why, like, if you are building for Solana mobile app, this is your opportunity to also get additional attention here. But I think the most important thing, right? The most important thing that we care about are the 15 slots that are available for the Colosseum Accelerator program, because that's going to put $250,000 into your pocket, right? You know, a great quote from Paul Graham, the founder of YC, was that early pitches must be simple. Engineers who start pitching complex products and business models lose their audiences early. Okay, so what are the secrets to winning or to competing in the Solana hackathon, right? Number one, Solana hackathons are not just coding competitions, they're startup launchpads. I think this is something that is really, really relevant to a lot of Vietnamese developers out here. A lot of Vietnamese developers think that they are the best coders in the ecosystem, and which, though that might be true, this is not a coding competition. This is a competition to whether or not you can launch a business. You can enter a launchpad, an accelerator program that will build your business. So it's not about the code, it's about the business itself. Number two, judges and investors are looking for long-term builders, not weekend hackers. And the reason why I bring this up is that in the early days of Solana competitions, you would get a lot of weekend hackers who were just really good at coding and could basically put out a product very quickly that was clean, that had great code and everything like that. But they'd win a prize, they'd go on to the next coding competition, the next hackathon, win that prize, and then go around and around, basically hackathon farming, right? The point of what a lot of the judges, and I'm one of the judges that I look for, is to determine whether or not I believe that you guys believe in your project itself, right? That I believe that this is something that you're passionate about, that if I give you money, be it $5,000 or $30,000 from the grant pool, right, that you deserve that money and that you will take that money to go on and continue building your project. And two ways that we can figure these things out, right? Number one, do you have a Twitter account? Again, I will never call this thing x.com. It is fucking Twitter to me for the rest of eternity. Open up a Twitter account today, if you haven't already, and then talk about your project. Build in the open. It shows that you are a true builder. Number two, there is a new category, and they started it last hackathon, that the judges want you to submit a weekly 1-minute video to show the progress of what you're doing, right? And the purpose of the 1-minute video isn't to it's basically to say, listen, this week we built this piece out, we showed it on Twitter, and we got great feedback. And from that feedback, we actually pivoted our idea just a little bit. And so now we're going down this path. It shows that it's something that this is something that you truly believe in. And it's something that, again, you are a long-term builder. So if you want to know where that is, right, all you do is you sign up for an account at Colosseum. So you go through the registration phase, you create a project, right? And then submit weekly updates right here. And again, the weekly updates are not a 100% requirement, but it will make the difference between, say, a judge saying, you know what, there's 3 great projects, they're kind of equal, but the project I'm going to award this money to is probably the project I believe in, and I believe the founders believe in themselves and are following the instructions. So number 3, winning isn't about perfection. It's about showing clear direction, strong execution, and real potential, right? And what that really means, and I should combine these two, is that all you need is an MVP, something that solves one specific pain for one specific group of people and prove that it works, right? If you're building up prediction markets, the idea is you don't need to build prediction markets for all sports or all games or all types of betting. What you want to prove is that, for example, you want to do prediction markets for Vietnamese streamers, as an example, right? Prove that you know how to build the market, generate people who would get interested in it, and market to that. And then from there, we need to extrapolate something, right? That's the whole idea of an MVP, like solving one specific problem, pain for one specific group of people. And one of the great ideas to think about doing that is kind of through the Peter Thiel quote, which is that every successful business is based on a secret, something that others have missed out. So what is that contrarian thought process? What is it that the other prediction market teams are not thinking about? What is it that Kalshi and Polymarket are thinking through, but that you have a secret that nobody else understands? And once you find that will make the delineation between you and everybody else. And finally, I think, and I'll redo this thing again, but the most important thing, and the thing that we're going to teach you in this, is anchor everything in storytelling, right? It all comes down to storytelling. And I can't tell you like how many teams, even in this last hackathon, right? And I'll say the name. So there was a team from Vietnam, they're called Guyan, right? They had a fantastic product. They had go-to-market strategy. They actually had customers. They were doing transactions. They were basically QR code scan, right? There was another team out of the UK. There was a UK developer and a Vietnamese developer, and it was called like Local Pay. They took first place and they got into the Colosseum program. And if you compare the two, right, between the Guyan deck and the Local Pay deck, it's the difference in storytelling. And Local Pay had not launched yet. They had not gotten a product into the market yet. They're pretty much doing the exact same thing, but they were better storytellers. And it's just something that it's a hard truth you have to ask yourself, like, why the F didn't we win? Well, it could be because of storytelling. And so by the end of this program, I think Leo will just like drill into your head how to put together a deck, how to tell a succinct 2 to 3 minute story that will impress the judges. So another thing about team structure, and this is, again, goes back to how to win one of these hackathons, right? Try not to fly solo, right? If you look at most winning teams, if not, like I would say 85% of the winning teams, if you go through the decks and everything like that, there were at least 2+ people on the team, right? Solo hackers rarely ship polished products. You know, you need a founder who has that CEO mindset. You need a developer or a product person or a marketing person, because you can't do it all on your own. And so if you know if you are a solo flyer, right, try to find somebody who can complement you. And Leo, myself, Hugh, we can help find that person for you. Like Maddie from Colosseum, who's the head of Colosseum, said that every winning team had someone obsessed with the delivery and pushing the product out the door. But usually it's not just the one person that can do it. You need like at least 2+ people. This is my favorite slide. And this is the most important slide out there and I'll tell you why it's so important, right? Solve a real pain. And I think the problem here is, again, I'm going to make fun of Vietnamese people because I am Vietnamese. Most of us are Vietnamese here. So we understand what this means. A lot of Vietnamese developers, right? They have a solution in search of a problem because they're like, oh, I can do this. I can create an NFT marketplace like 3 years ago. I can create another launch pad, right? I can create something that is incremental. I can create a swap that's incrementally better than Kyber Swap or Jupiter, right? That is not going to win anything for you, right? Those teams, you work so hard to build something, but at the end of the day, most of the time, you're not going to win because you're not solving for real pain, right? The most important question you have to ask yourself is there a problem in the market today? And is my solution going to solve for that problem? So no one cares about the tech unless they're solving for a real problem, a burning problem that people are experiencing today, or even the developer themselves are experiencing. So don't chase the hype, chase the pain, right? The pain is everything. How do you validate pain? You talk to 5 users. You post in Discord, you run a quick survey on Twitter. You don't tell the judges you're going to scale to 1 million users. Actually, you tell them that the first 50 users I solved a problem for. And one of the litmus tests out there is that you ask yourselves is, if we shut ourselves down tomorrow, would anybody really miss our service, right? That's the ultimate question you want to ask yourself. So startups die when they solve imaginary problems. Hackathon projects too. That is an absolute truth in what we're doing. So solve a pain, chase pain. Pain is your friend. Here's another thing. Your time is limited, extremely limited. You want to ship fast and you want to cut ruthlessly. And I know we get married to our concepts and our theses, but it is really, really, really important for you to be able to pivot or make changes when necessary. This is why you should build in the open. This is why you should post on Twitter or Discord or wherever you have your users. Remember, MVP means the smallest version that proves the point. So top teams ship early and they cut scope and they polish the key flow. So every winning team killed 80% of their ideas to make 20% amazing, right? You go wide, like, if it's prediction markets, if it's a game, if it's even financialization of a product, you want to go wide, and then you want to say, okay, you know what? I do this very well, and just focus on that, right? Cash, who is the head of Superteam, basically said that focus on a specific challenge facing a particular group of people. That's it, right? You want to find that wedge. And at the end of the day, right, here's a dirty secret that I'm going to share with everybody here. Here's the dirty secret. Nobody looks at your code until you make the various cuts. That means the judges at the beginning, think about it. There's 1,400 submissions. How are we going to go through 1,400 decks and 1,400 demos and 1,400 pieces of code? It just doesn't happen. What we look for is the teams that do everything right, meaning they put a pitch video, a deck together, the story makes sense, there's logic into it, everything like that. If it logically flows and we're like, okay, there's a problem they're solving, there's a market there, there's clearly a solution, then we're going to go to the demo, right? And then we're going to go look at the code. It happens in that order. So that's why storytelling is so important, and being able to flow to that. But the number two thing, after we look at the deck, then we look at the demo. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, right? A working demo saves all, right? That is the most important thing. If you have a shitty demo, if it's not working, if they're broken links, then you're effed. You are effed. Again, most likely, we're not going to even look at the code, because why look at the code for a broken demo or a sloppy demo? That doesn't matter to us, right? So remember, deck first, clean demo, then we get to the code after that. This is the most important thing I want all of you guys to be able to do very, very early on. And when I say early on, if you have an idea, I want you guys to be able to send something like this to either me or Leo or the rest of the group within the very first week, the first 4 slides. I really don't care about any other slides until you get these first four perfected, right? I don't care about your go-to-market. I don't care about your marketing plan. I definitely don't care about your tokenomic strategy. Like that is almost completely irrelevant to this. I actually don't even care about product founder market fit yet. I obviously that makes obviously is a huge big difference, but you have to get the product slides right. And the first 4 slides that you have to do before you write even a single line of code are these 4 things. Number 1, what is your elevator pitch, right? Meaning, can you tell me what your project is in one simple sentence, right? If it takes you 2 or 3 sentences, then you don't have it right. The elevator pitch is absolutely critical, because if the judges are reading and they don't understand your elevator pitch, they might not even go to the next few slides. They might say, ah, shit, this doesn't make any sense to me. I don't even care to look. Because again, 1,400 decks that people are going through. Some judges look at only a certain vertical, so at least that's still 200, 300 decks. That's a lot of information. So it is critically important early on for you to tell us what your elevator pitch is in one simple sentence. It'll also give you a structure and a flow moving forward. Number 2, the problem statement. Again, chase pain. This is critically important. What are the problems that you are solving for? Because everything that flows after this derives back into the problem statement, right? Which is slide number 3. If you solve for this very specific problem, right? How much of the market opens up for you? For example, let's say your guy, and I'll use them as an example, right? We don't care what the TAM of the entire APAC market for QR codes are, right? That is irrelevant. The TAM is that if you make it easier for people to use QR code, use crypto payments with QR code scans, then how big is that market? Well, then that market is people in Vietnam who have crypto, which is about like 30%, about 30 million people, right? And it's about whatever, like I think QR code is like 60% of the market in Vietnam. So again, it's critically important to understand that the opportunity is not the entire market, but it's the very sub-segment that you guys are trying to solve for. And then we can extrapolate to something bigger later on. But that's what's important. And finally, number 4, your elegant solution that solves for the problems that you listed above. Ask yourself this question. If the solution doesn't solve for the problem, then the two don't connect, right? They're irrelevant, right? It has to be problem, solution. And does your solution solve for those problems? These 4 things will help you so much out early, because people like Leo, myself, the rest of the mentors here, we will be easily able to say like, okay, this makes sense. Your scope is too wide. Your scope is too narrow. There's too many good teams solving for these things, but start with these 4 things, these 4 slides, and then we can move on to the code, to the go-to-market strategy, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? But just start with these things. Opus. What only possible in Solana? So use what makes Solana special. So judges reward teams that embrace Solana's latest technology. Do something you can't do anywhere else because it's only possible in Solana. Extra bonus if you can integrate with like the secret dApp store. Listen, it's as Chase says, if your app could run just as well in Ethereum, then you're not showing why Solana matters, right? This is actually very important because this is, after all, a Solana hackathon. And the demo video. Tell a compelling story. Your demo video and pitch needs to tell the vision in under 3 minutes, right? It is absolutely important that you can tell your story in under 3 minutes. The accelerator program out of Superteam Singapore called Ignition, in the last 2 Ignition demo days, they did demos in 2 minutes. 2 minutes. And they really, really perfected their story, right? And it felt great. I mean, I've been in a lot of these demo days, and unfortunately, as hard as you guys work, if you're boring the judges, they will look down at their phones. They will look at their emails. They will look at crypto charts. They will look at a bunch of different things. It is a shitty reality of life, right? But if you can be compelling, if you could be to the point, succinct, and you could do 2 minutes, that is the generation we're living. We're living in a fucking TikTok swiping generation. We want things fast. We want things to the point. We don't need like these grandiose stories. It is the world that we live in. So it is very, very important that you anchor everything you do in good storytelling, because good storytelling is the difference between Guyan, who got a honorable mention, and Local Pay, who took first place, right? And really, it should have been the reverse, right? If it was just a coding competition, right? But that is the reality that we live in. It sucked for a Vietnamese team, but these are the hard lessons that we have to learn. Go-to-market matters. Again, this is how you tell the story. This is how you tell whether or not you have a good idea or not. No users equals no traction. Even during the hackathon, great teams will test ideas publicly and gather feedback. Again, that is the poll that you run on Twitter, Telegram, Discord. It is marketing is part of the build. Like open up that page, Twitter account now. Go to market is the new alpha. Understanding what your revenue model is. Don't tell the judges that you're going to scale to the fucking 100 million users. Tell us how you did it with the first 100. That's all we care about, right? Did you find the first 100? Did they give you feedback? And is there obviously more than 100 behind that? That's what's important, right? Teams that didn't talk to users lost. It's that simple, right? This is the head of Colosseum. So I know a lot of people like kind of want to wait so their product is polished and perfected. Don't do that. Push out your product over the next week or so, test, iterate, polish it up even more, and then tell a story about why, what you learned from your users itself, right? And of course, what do the judges care about, right? You're being treated like this is being treated like a startup competition, right? Teach the judges something about a market opportunity they didn't know about, right? The Peter Thiel kind of like idea, is it technically sound? Is it usable? Is there a real market? It's everything I've just kind of talked about before, right? These are the things that judges care about. So think through them while you're building, right? And again, what do winners have in common, right? They didn't chase a narrative. Grit and urgency. It's that sense of like they're not weekend warriors. Daily iteration. There's a clear understanding of user pain, and the MVP shipped fast, and the demo was polished, right? The best projects felt like they could raise tomorrow. Again, coming from the head of Colosseum, that's the feeling that you want to have, right? That, again, if your product didn't exist tomorrow, people would notice. If your project could raise money tomorrow, it could, right? That's the feeling that you want to have. The rest of the slides are kind of like some analysis on some of the teams that had won the previous hackathons. So it's just like my analysis of why I thought that was really good about their decks. Take a look at it again. Leo will share this. This is available for everybody to kind of like look at and take a look at the links and the decks and everything like that. That's all I got for today. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask.
Okay. Well, that was a lot. So guys, I think before we expected like maybe 45 minutes for the presentation, but I think An just ran all the way through it. So question time. I assume people will have a number of questions. So please fire away. Any volunteer? All right. So people are taking time to think about their questions. You can type it in the chat as well, but maybe let me ask first, right? So I think I have two questions. Oh, BK, go ahead.
Sorry, my question is if you are starting to build on public, like for example, when we are building these products, right? So we go to public and share more information about the project. So don't you think that will also be like if we do it early, that will also give out a lot of in-depth details of the project to other participants and the competitors who are actually building alongside the same line of idea. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, so I get this question all the time, right? And the very simple answer is that nobody can do what you do. Plain and simple, right? You have to believe in yourself, and you have to believe that you are not a. So here's my take: you are not a VC startup that has venture raised money that can go into stealth mode and then have a launch because you have the ability to hire people to test the product internally. You do not have that. I mean, BK, I don't know. You might be this super millionaire that I'm not sure about, but for the most of us here on this call, you just don't have that ability, right? So you want to build in the public. You want to be able to say, I'm first to fucking market. And you want to be able to, I think one of the most important things that Yash from Send had indicated, had written a long post about was that it's not just, at Solana, it's all about internet capital markets. That's what you hear about all the time. But just as important is attention capital markets, right? Attention capital markets is equally important, especially in crypto. Crypto Twitter is all about attention capital markets. It is all about the ability to get eyeballs onto what you are doing. And so, yes, you are disclosing what you are doing, but the reality is there's only 3 weeks left, right? A little more than 3 weeks left. I doubt that anybody's going to be able to catch up to you. And if they can, may the best team win.
Yeah, thank you so much, man. Yeah. Makes sense.
Mark, so there's a spreadsheet on the main group that should contain all the teams and all the decks and also all the one-liners. So the one-liner is the one I've written for you based on what I've heard from last pitches. If you want to change that, let me know. But that basically is the starting help that you can use. And it's also like you can also look at other people's pitches. You already see each other's pitches anyway, and then even help each other out, right? Like for example, I think Arnold was getting help from someone else for his pitch and all that. And of course, like that sheet is also available to all the mentors and all the advisor and expert who've been helping us along the way. So like Will, he read all the pitches, and that's why he's running a workshop next week just about storytelling for you guys. So that's something that we work on together as well. And of course, like I think the top 6 teams that's gonna be presenting at demo day will get additional help. And the top, I think we're choosing the top 3 teams. I'm not quite sure yet how available that is, but I think we can not because originally we're going to do 3 teams that's going to get the help all the way through Colosseum, but we can do more. So I think that's open for later. But yeah, like Mark, I just send the link again over the group chat. So your number 1 resource is always going to be the group. If you have anything that you need help with, ask it there or ask in our private group. I'm always there to help.
There's 2 links I put up. One is the link to obviously the presentation today, and number 2, take a look at Yash's article on attention capital markets and why it's important, especially in crypto Twitter and crypto itself. Right? That's why building early, building in the public, getting access to the attention capital market makes all the difference. Not only for your project, your token, but obviously for your hackathon competition.
And I got a quick question for you about building in public on Twitter in terms of best practices for businesses that are focused more B2C or businesses that are focused B2B. We're building a product that's specifically targeted towards B2B, and I want to know if that changes the positioning in how you build in public.
Businesses are on Twitter, right? I don't know your business, so I apologize. But like whatever it is, if it's a B2B product, right? You can always do a poll. You could always say like, hey, what do you guys think of this new design? You could always do something along the lines of like engagement with your audience is the most important thing. So engagement could be many different things. Engagement could be, what do you think of this new design, right? So you're getting, audience feedback about the product itself. Or engagement could be something along the lines of like, hey, we're looking for users, $10 off, blah, 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 whatever the case may be. The whole idea is having engagement on social to get illicit feedback from people or illicit users. That's the goal.
Okay. And just coming from the Vietnamese market, I need to do a little bit more research on this as well, but to understand, my assumption is, and this is an assumption, is that many of our customers might not be in that space, in the Twitter space. So if my assumption is correct there, what would
you
be
can
the best
you can do it.
practice
Obviously, you can do it in parallel, right? You can do it in on Vietnam's market is kind of bifurcated between Twitter and Facebook. So Facebook is totally fine. The problem with doing, and I tell this to Vietnamese builders or people building in Vietnam, the problem with posting on Twitter is that, or with Facebook, is that your audience is just Vietnamese audiences, and you don't get crypto Twitter's audience. But there's a way to probably repost your findings from Facebook on crypto Twitter itself, so that like judges, like at the end of the day, right, when we go through these decks and you get deep into this, when we will be looking at your Twitter account, we will be looking to see like, are you posting? Is there good data and information that we can see on there? And is there engagement?
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
I'll say this too as well, right? So Mark, you guys are building with Helium Network, right? So one thing you can do is just engage the Helium people, like like showing up, like like, whatever, like the Huang said the other day, like, oh, our devices are live on Helium Network and Solana. It's like, that's cool. I'll post that immediately, right? So not I think the program for this the content for this program is good as well. Like you sharing the journey. Like every week we make this progress, and that's why we break it down to the 4-week program, right? So week 1 was just about like ideation, identifying the issue, the problem, and then week 2 was all about having you guys work on the MVP. And then I think what I said was like by Wednesday, I'd love to see all the teams shipping something, right? And then between now and demo day, just showing that off, like communicating, shilling, whatever. You keep that content coming, right? And not only on LinkedIn, because like it or not, crypto investors are not really on LinkedIn that much. I think they're either on Twitter or in some cases they're on Facebook. So,
I think the market is growing for. There's a crypto LinkedIn market that's growing, especially for the TradFi guys who are trying to get interested in crypto. But unless you're building financial products and stuff like that, if you're building Web3 native products like DeFi, DPIN type projects, crypto Twitter I think is still your best spot.
yes.
Okay. Thank you.
So get working on that Twitter account. I mean, it takes like 5 minutes to set up, and then I think just keep it active, right? That's what I did as well. Like, when we started Spread Out account, we only have like 50 follows, and then we literally spend $0 on it, and like grow hack into like a couple thousand. So but for the sake of program, yes. Maybe talk to Len and Emily, see if they can help you.
Okay, sounds good. That's helpful. I'll get on firing up that business account, and then we can start to grow that and tweet more.
And we do have 2 ladies in here who are marketing agency. So you need help grow hacking your social presence. Ask no further than within this group chat, right?
Perfect.
BK, you again. Let's go.
Yeah. One more question regarding CT is specifically to our project. Since we are building like the game and the IP for like the past 3 years, our Twitter is completely off those kind of details and more of into game related thing. But the product now we are building is we created this airdrop arcade. So that one, like, should I spin up a new Twitter, or should I just change the branding of the world, top banners and everything, and then continue posting on the same? What would you recommend?
I would do the latter.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
It's similar to what I said to you yesterday, BK. Because you basically have this new product that was a spawn off of the last product. So you do want to show that relevance, right?
Yeah.
Or in the narrative communication, right? So the way you should communicate is like, I've been working with War for this many years, and I realized that like we're solving a smaller problem with War, but now we realize there's a problem with airdrop arcade. So now we're doing airdrop arcade, and it's not a rock in any sense. It's a pivot, and there's a clear difference between the two, right? You're not abandoning this, you're growing it into becoming bigger, and people love to see that, right? The evolution is important, right? So use the War account to keep communicating about the new journey that you're embarking upon, and then yes. Other questions?
No. That's it. I'm clear on that. Thank you.
Cool. Other people, do you have any questions? All right. While we wait, so let me ask one question. So what do you want to see build from this batch?
I mean, there's so much going on right now. I would say that like a little bit broad of a question, but I could tell you what is really interesting. I mean, again, I think that there are obviously narratives that we see from the Solana Foundation, and it's really the big narrative right now is what Tolly said in the All In podcast, right? He said, if you think about if you're thinking about like, what does business finance look like 20 years into the future, 30 years into the future, right? The kind of sci-fi version of what the world kind of looks like, either from technology, but in our case, the financial world, right? He thinks 20, 30 years in the future, there's basically finances will run on one state machine. There will be global liquidity, and almost all assets will be tokenized, right? Like in the sense of a investor in the United States will be able to invest in the stock market in Vietnam. Instead of being T+3, it'll be T+0. It will happen 24/7 on one global state machine with liquidity, with one giant liquidity pool available for almost all different markets 24/7, right? So that's kind of like the sci-fi future. The question is, can we get there? How do we get there? What are the different steps to get there along the way? So as an example, today with things like X stocks, you can trade US listed equities on chain 24/7, right? Another step is that you can also trade through a product from Mirror Republic, and I think 2 other people are doing it now, non-listed equities like OpenAI, SpaceX, non-listed uh, uh, non-listed private companies now can be traded on chain. You can kind of do this already within crypto. Like remember Whales Market? 1 second, guys. You could do this. You could kind of do this before with things like Whales Market, where you were trading unlisted like pre-seed tokens. So there is this like thought process of like the future, right, of what that looks like, and there are all these interim steps to kind of get towards that future. But it really is the financialization of things, and like we've done the financialization or the tokenization of a ton of different things. You could tokenize people's time, i.e. time.fun. You could tokenize your friends, i.e. friendtech, and other various things, like that. So I think the future is definitely about the tokenization of products in a way that is tokenizing not for the sake of tokenizing, but tokenizing for the sake of getting us towards that financial future that Tolly had painted, right? So anybody who kind of embarks on that really is competing in the RWA track, is competing in the kind of the DeFi track, right? And so those I think are very interesting narratives. I would say the second narrative, not necessarily narrative, again, one of my slides was basically don't chase narratives, don't chase trends, just do what you do. But one thing that you definitely see a lot of is the ability to create markets everywhere, right? Kalshi, Polymarket, those are kind of like the really interesting kind of hot things. Before it was about token launchpads, and I think this time around it's more about how to create different types of markets and be able to allow people to bet on those different outcomes, right? Be it gaming, be it live streams, be it some. But this is a very big and it's a broad field. You want to be contrarian. You want to think about like what is it that people aren't thinking about, and then kind of like extrapolating and going with that, right? Like I'll give you an example. I was in Thailand the other day, and there's a team out there that's doing a combination of horoscopes and prediction markets, right? So the Thai market are people who really, really believe in horoscopes and fortune tellers, and they want to take a very simple segment of Thai kickboxers, right? Which apparently a shit ton of people in Thailand bet on. So again, they're finding that wedge, right? And they're finding something that's a little bit different from everything in the market, and they're trying to combine those two things. So it'll be an interesting outcome, right? Because right now it's like it's your luck. It's like either you think that interest rates are going to be cut next month or they're not going to be cut next month. You think that Solana is going to be 250 next week or not 250 next week. So it's binary. But if you add another element like fortune tellers, and you're going towards a very specific but yet large industry, right? Does that make a difference? I think there was a team in India who told me that the cricket betting market is larger than the global football soccer market, and that's just for India, right? So again, when pickleball betting, great question. Just pickleball betting, Web3 events, that's your wedge market right there.
It's pretty funny because we hosted a pickleball event, I think like during Conviction, and I actually had a pickleball betting app ready to go, but there was some bug at the end, so we couldn't do it. So Kevin, for sponsored up fun, maybe think about that. And I think this is something I've talked to a lot of you guys in the room. I think maybe 3 to 4 teams that look at prediction market, look at tokenization aspect of everything. So like creator coins, content coins. These are all things that you should be combining into whatever you're building. So like I think for Tokera, it was like RWA indexes. with betting, with prediction market. Oh, sorry, not betting, but like prediction market. Like, are you going to long this index? Are you going to short this index? You're going to long Ondo. You're going to short Ondo. You're going to long X stock. You're going to short X stock. So these are all things that, one, breaking no law. Two, to create a sense of speculation, which, like it or not, is what crypto is mostly about still. But it could create future financial market, like how Polymarket and Kalshi and ODCI did. So take it from that, right? I think, one, tokenize everything. Two, look at trends, look at what's going on, look at what Solana is supporting. Solana is encouraging people to build, and also what Solana can do for you from a product point of view. I think and as I think even for like DeepIn and stuff, that there are things that you can combine some of the financialization aspect, like fun gamification of finance, combining finance and DeepIn, finance and gaming, finance and whatever. I think that actually is what is the strongest area that Solana can support you in shipping your product, right? As a layer one. Yeah. All right. I think we have a couple minutes left. So, any other questions? Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So, one of the biggest requirements for the Colosseum that I saw is to build a project that fits the narrative that they required, right? But I kind of see two big problems with that. First is, like, as you guys know, is narratives in this market come and go like super fast. I mean, like some sticking around, but 90% of them like just vanish in a few months. And even something like NFT, which was like really big, now basically feel non-existent. And the second thing is narratives are abused. Maybe they are based on some solid thesis, but if your execution doesn't like really fit the crypto market, it's on for nothing anyway. So my real question is like, if I'm building something that's totally outside of Colosseum narrative requirement, then what is the best apply here?
There's a
And-
new category called undefined, right? So
Oh.
it's for those that are like so a couple of changes this year. We got rid of the DeepIn track because that got rolled up into consumer applications. We got rid of the AI track because the idea is that AI is a tool and it's not really a category itself. The AI is kind of applied across all categories. And they got rid of the gaming track because that got subsumed under consumer applications itself, right? The two new tracks that were added were RWA, right? Because that is a narrative, and undefined, which is something that you need to create. That doesn't make any sense. I'll give you an example. There was a team in Bangkok the other day that is working on robotics, right? Robotics and crypto and AI. So their project is AI meets robotics meets crypto, and it's in an undefined category. But I also think that's a very interesting category for the future. I mean, if you look at U.S. equities, all of the highest moving equities in the United States are AI related, right? NVIDIA, I mean, it's obviously dominating. And we don't have an AI track anymore, and we don't have a robotics track. But if you think about like a lot of the narrative, it is around things. I think there will be a handful of teams that build robotics. And I think those will go under the undefined category. So if you do have something that is you don't think is trending right now, don't worry about it, right? A good idea is a good idea. That's all you should worry about.
Yeah, if you're unsure about which track to apply, talk to me, or talk to one of us here. I think An probably can provide some guidelines as to which track would you, I guess, kind of like belong into. But in general, I think anything that related to consumer trading, retail tooling should be under either DeFi or consumer app. Can we apply for multiple track, by the way?
3 tracks.
Yeah, right, there we go. So you can apply up to 2 tracks. So it could be DeFi and consumer apps or multi-chain product. Of course, you want to take this one?
If we build multi-chain products, of course, the Solana, would that decrease the chance to Colosseum? No, it does not, right? Again, it is a Solana competition. You should show that Solana is the dominant. This again is rooted back in storytelling. Like, obviously, there are many teams that are building using layer 0 wormhole that allows you to do multi-chain or cross-chain products, right? I'll give you an example. There was a company called InsoFi from 2 hackathons ago that took, I think, an honorable mention. And of course, they're cross-chain lending, right? So definitely, it's totally fine to do multi-chain, but where does it land, I think, makes a big difference. So if you're landing the transaction on, say, a non-Solana network, then the odds are Colosseum will give the advantage to somebody who's landing the block transactions on Solana. But again, it comes down to storytelling, right? I don't care what the code does in the back end. If your presentation is Solana, 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 that's what we're going to be looking at.
Yep. I would add to that, right? It is okay to be multi-chain, but for the sake of Colosseum, maybe say something along the line like we are launching on Solana first, and why? Like, let's say you're doing RWA indexing and prediction market. Why Solana? Could be anything like number 1 RWA chain. There's like so much asset, blah blah blah. Then later on, you want to expand to like another, like, let's say more RWA native chain, like Bloom or Plasma or whatever. I think that's fine, but as long as your base chain is still Solana.
That's right. Okay, gentlemen, ladies, I've got to get off the call right now. I'm going to another meeting. I'm in the chats. Feel free to tag me, ask me any question, and then we'll talk more. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Anh. I enjoy Hanoi. It's flooding out there, but I know, but enjoy anyway.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, bye guys. All right.